So I've been meaning to buy a chimney for some time now. I just haven't actually got around to buying one. But I thought it'd be really nice for those cool summer evenings, or even the winter months, especially when it snows. If you're outside with a chimney, it's actually, I should imagine it's quite nice. A nice hot drink and fire burning and real snow around you. Anyway, point is, I was thinking if I do get one, then I'm obviously going to need to store the wood somewhere, and I don't want to store it with all my other stuff in my workshop, because it just get a bit confusing, I think, with all these bits of wood that I use for making stuff specifically, and scraps of wood that only really any use for burning. So I've decided to make a log store, or wood store if you like, to put in the garden to store excuse me, all the scrap wood for burning, and ironically it's going to be made out of scrap wood, so so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so for the 4 posts of the wood store, I'm going to be using these sections of old pallet. Now, the reason why I can't use this for anything else other than something like firewood, which is too nice a timber to use as firewood, but the reason why I'm going to use these is because where they're part of the pallet, I cut the nails off, and now they've got nails embedded in there, and really to get them out you have to cut them out or drill them out or whatever, and it's just pointless waste of time. So I'm going to make use of these and actually use them as the posts. But the first thing we want to do is we want to make mark the line, the ridge line, or the slope line of the roof on here. So I'm going to take my angle guide, and I'm just going to set up and kind of roughly kind of mark it out. I'm not going to do it to any specific measurement. I'm just going to guess what sort of slope I want my roof to be. Okay, so that should give you the marking of your roof line, I hope. Okay, whilst cutting this piece, I've actually hit a nail, because obviously the nails, it's a bit too close to it really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through with this rip saw just to get through the metal. So what I've just done there is I've measured out 90 centimetres on this gravel board. This is going to form one of the pieces of the back length. Obviously you can have it any size you want, but for me I've just decided to do it at 90 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clap that on. This is kind of a test run just to get it on there. So I'm going to just clap that to this one so it's supported, and then I'm going to go ahead and screw this one on. Okay, so because we want to leave a gap in between each board, I'm just going to use a piece of wood as a space. This is just a little piece of scrap I've got from some other tree wood of some kind. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that up there like so. Put the piece in between. Attach one screw that side, and move the spacer to the other side. Repeat the process. So what I've done is I've cut this piece down to 45 centimetres. I'm going to cut 10 of those, and they're going to form the 2 sides of the wood store. these old pieces of fence panel I'm going to be using for the supports for the floor of the wood store. Is just mark off when he's supposed to going to go and cut round. So what I'm going to do is rip some of this up on the table saw. This piece here is going to be the centre section of the kindling shelf and the actual wood store shelf. Because it's an odd size, I need to rip this down to about 10 centimetres, two bits of 10 centimetres. This piece here is going to be the front capping sections, and that's going to have to be ripped down to 7.5. What I've also decided to do is screw these two pieces together. The screws are a little bit too long, so I've had to file them down a little bit, only a tiny bit though. So I've just done 2 screws on that side, 2 screws on that side, opposite corners. It's not the full depth of the wood store, it's just going to be kind of just underneath as the support under the middle of the bottom shelf, because it's obviously going to have most of the wood on it. Now we're going to go ahead and just put these end cappings on. Okay, so that's another project done, and it's been quite nice actually getting outside now. The warmer weather's set in, doing some woodwork outside and getting a bit of a tan, you know, because I'm pretty pasty to be honest. You know, good old England. But yeah, it has been quite nice. But there is a massive lesson to be learned, I think, from this project, especially for me anyway. I hopefully that many people out there who are watching this would, whoever's watching this, would learn from the mistake I'm about to tell you about. Either that, or had the common sense, or have the common sense not to make it in the first place, or spotted it when I made the mistake. But that mistake obviously was at the beginning when you watched me do the angle on of the roof. I did it on 2 pieces of timber and then pulled them apart. That should give you the marking of your roof line, I hope. Well, the problem with that is, say for instance, look at these 2 pieces here. If you had an angle going from there down to there, it's alright when you've got them together, but when you pull them apart, that angle's no longer in line. So I had to do it again. I had to, when it was already assembled, remeasure and cut a piece off, which left it, because I didn't have much to play with after I'd done my first cut, it left the angle of the roof, which should have been a lot steeper. It really wasn't very steep at all, so it's kind of come off as a kind of, I don't really want to call it a mono pitch roof, because it's not really got a pitch to it. It's just off flat. It's just off flat. So but it works. It still works. It's all right. And it's actually been raining. I've got some kindling on the Kindle shelf, and it's actually been raining and pretty hard today and yesterday, but it's actually kept it quite dry, so it's working, so I'm not too bothered. But that is definitely a lesson I will learn, or will consider in the future, is on other projects to do with using angles and whatnot, not to make that same mistake again. And hopefully people watching would either recognise that mistake, like I said before, or would learn from my mistake, or telling you now. But that's my ramble over. But it has been quite a good project, actually. I quite enjoyed it. I only used was it 4? I used 4 pieces of scrap wood, which came from a pallet, a Lafarge pallet, and then I used a couple of, I suppose they are scraps from some old fence panelling that were knocking around the garage anyway. But other than that, I actually did buy every other piece from Herriot's sawmill, because it was all treated. I didn't really want to use wood that had been left around or webbed too much, because I want this to last quite a while. So I thought, if I get some treated timber, brand new, it'd be a lot better, because it's going to last, what, 10-15 years, they guarantee it or something, or well, not guarantee it, but they say it's weatherproof for about 10-15 years. So I'd rather do that, and it looks really nice as well, I think, because it's all nice and pristine. But hey, we'll see what happens. but I did enjoy it. It has been a good project. But yeah, anyway, so moving on. I have actually got another project coming, I think in the next couple of days, straight after this, really. It'll be like a bit of a shop project. Like I said, I wanted to go back to a shop project. I was meant to do that on this one, I think. Oh well, I'll do it on the next one. But basically, I'm making my own style micro jig. Easy to make. It only takes a bit of ply and that trusty stuff I've got. Christ, it's all stuck together from that glue. Oh Jesus! That foam padding I've got for toolboxes. I think I'm gonna have to sort this out. I think I've done something here. I've glued it all together. So I think it's that varnish I was using. Blasted stuff. I'm going to have to repair these now. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be making my own micro jig out of this stuff and some ply. So stay tuned for that. Sorry, I've just dropped on the floor. So that'll be the next project, and then I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline as well. So please stay tuned. Oh, and please remember to check out the Facebook page. I'm always putting stuff. Well, I try to always put stuff on there, but I've got a couple of other things I still need to get up on there at the moment. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, and give me a thumbs up. It's always handy, and I'm trying to get as many ratings as I can. So until next time, take care. See you later.